the Bharatiya Janata Party and Biju Janata Dal are exploring the options of entering into an alliance ahead of the Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. Well, why is it happening at this juncture, and what does it mean for both the BJP as well as BJD? To discuss all this in this episode of Political Adda, we have with us a political analyst as well as author Ruben Banerjee, who's also a biographer of CM Navin Patna. We also have our political editor DK Singh, who will also give us an insight into what does it mean for both the parties. Welcome, Ruben Banerjee, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, DK sir.
Yeah, thanks, Neelam.
So, sir,
just to clarify, I'll also be asking questions because Ruben has known Odisha like anything. He got posted there 2.5 decades back for India Today. He was a correspondent, and since then he has been following Odisha politics very closely. So we should rather let him talk.
Yeah, and which is why he's here on this episode of Political Adda. To begin with, sir, our viewers have sent us a lot of questions. I'll start with the first question itself. Why is this alliance taking place now? We have been hearing about it for months. Why now? What is so special about the timing?
It's just to correct yourself, Neelam, it's just not an ordinary alliance. It's most likely, and it's a done deal. I'm expecting an announcement, a formal announcement, say in a couple of more days, maybe March 12th. That's the date being cited. It's most likelihood BJD, Biju Janata Dal, is going to rejoin the National Democratic Alliance of BJP. So it's just not a alliance, an electoral alliance. It's BJD's Gharvapsi to the India, as you may call it. One of the reasons is I'm given to understand, and I'm pretty certain about it, that this rearrangement is being majorly driven by the central leadership of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And the Biju Janata Dal of Navin Patna is not into it out of choice, but more out of compulsion. They are being compelled to capitulate to what the BJP wants. And the BJP central leadership has set its sights on 400 plus Lok Sabha seats, 400 par is bar. So, and the BJP central leadership is very determined that it's a pre-poll seat tally that crosses 400. They are not apparently satisfied with post-poll electoral arithmetic. They want it 400 minimum. They want it as a pre-poll tally. So they want BJD on their side and to mop up all the seats, Lok Sabha seats that Odisha has to offer for themselves. So that's primarily the reason. Yes.
Also, you talked about
talking about BJD's compulsion. Can you elaborate it a bit?
Well, I think out of this arrangement, BJD gains. Yes, BJD gains in the sense that obviously they can set their plan into motion. What does BJD gain out of it? If you think of it, they will cede ground to Bharatiya Janata Party. It's very likely that Bharatiya Janata Party will contest more number of Lok Sabha seats than Biju Janata Dal. They will also have possibly, the Biju Janata Dal or Navin Patna will also have to give away 30, 40, 50 seats, assembly seats. Please remember, Odisha is one state where Lok Sabha and assembly elections are held simultaneously. So on their own, Navin Patna certainly, he still enjoys a popularity rating of 52%, though it has been on the decline, but it's still 52%, which is remarkably high for an incumbent chief minister who has been the chief minister for 24 years. So he, on his own, he would have, nobody was expecting that Navin Patnaik will be voted out this time. He would have definitely been re-elected for the 6 maybe with a slightly reduced margin, maybe rather than 120 odd seats that he won the last time, he would have become the chief minister with 80 seats or 90 seats or maybe 100 seats. So slightly weaker, but nothing stopped him from becoming the chief minister again. So, but now what he has to do effectively is, after getting back into this arrangement with Bharatiya Janata Party, not only he has to concede the major sizable number of seats, Lok Sabha seats, he also has to give away 30, 40 seats to the Bharatiya Janata Party in the assembly. So he loses. So what does he gain out of this? My guess is he's bought temporary peace because given his age and his physical health, I think he has very limited ambition now. The fight has left him, kind of deserted him. He doesn't want to get into hassles. So he's clearly looking for a kind of continuation as the chief minister without any hassles, without the central government turning its heat on him or his party. No CBI, no ED. So it's very likely that this arrangement that they are finalizing right now as we talk, central protection, quote unquote, would have been definitely a part of the deal, part of the understanding.
Before we take another question from our viewers, let me take you back to say 97 when the BJD was formed after the death of Navin Patna's father, Biju Patnaik. The BJD was formed in 97, and in 98 Navin Patnaik contested his first election. And you have given many interesting anecdotes in your book, Navin. But what happened then? You were the India Today correspondent in Bhubaneswar. Tell us, when you were following him on the campaign trail, you talked about something about, are you visiting a hotel when Navin Patnaik was on the poolside? What happened then? Can you just bring it back to us?
Well, Navin Patnaik was a stranger to all of us. He was a stranger even in Odisha, which he came to rule, because most of his life he has grown up outside. So he was contesting from his father's seat. Biju Patnaik had just passed away, and Navin was contesting from Aska parliamentary seat. And we were all trying to catch up with him and do a normal, regular campaign trail story that everyone does. But Navin was kind of giving us the sleep. He could imagine he's a candidate, but he doesn't want to meet the press. So that was the state. So after a long chase, we finally got in touch with his team, and they said, okay, tomorrow morning be there at such and such place in Gopalpur, which is a seaside town, and we'll start our campaign tomorrow from there, and you can follow Navin Babu. So we turned up there, and we kept waiting 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. There was no trace of Navin Patnaik or his team. They were not there. Then finally, a local tea wala asked us, like, who are you waiting for? Because we were waiting near the tea stall and having one cup of tea after the other. And we said, we are waiting for Navin Patnaik because they said, like, his team said that he will start his day's campaign from here. They said, no, go and check out the Oberoi Hotel. He must be there. So the locals knew where he would be. So we, out of desperation, we get crashed into Oberoi. And we actually found Navin Patnaik lounging by the side of the swimming pool. So he was apparently, from his face, I could make out that he was very, very displeased that to find that we had finally caught up with him. He was not happy at all because he saw us as the intruders. We were intruding into his privacy. And he came across as someone very inherently shy and introvert. But then having caught up with him.
What was he doing there poolside?
He was just having a good time because he was riding a sympathy wave. His father had just passed away. He was 100% certain that he's going to win. So he was taking it easy and smoking and relaxing. That's it. And spending time with friends. But then now that we had caught up with him, so what does he do with us? So he had to relent. And he said, okay, I'll start campaigning. I'll go out on my campaigning a little while from now. So you guys can tag along. But he said 2 conditions. One is, we cannot report that he is smoking, and 2, we cannot report that he is staying in Oberoi, the 5-star hotel. So because he was trying to project himself as the leader of the masses, and the masses in Odisha were generally poor. So from day one, he was very conscious about his image.
And then you've written that, from one rally to another, he was reading of the same thing.
That was 2 years later when he was campaigning for the chief ministership. That was in 2000 when he was in the race to become the chief minister. So that was the time, because earlier in 97 he was campaigning only in his parliamentary constituency, which was Aska parliamentary constituency. But during the assembly elections, he was the CM face. So he had to campaign across the state. So from one so he was traveling in a helicopter, and he would visit one town after the other. And so he would land up in towns which I'm certain he had never heard of. Because as I said, as Biju Babu's son, he grew up mostly out of Odisha. He could not even speak the language. Odia language, he couldn't. He was more at home, more comfortable speaking in English or French. So he had kind of marked a few lines, and wherever he would land, he would he would be told that this is the place we are landing, like at a village, at a town called Thakurmunda, or a town called Keonjhar, or a town called Baripada. So I'm sure at that point of time, the names of these towns were all French and Latin for him because he had never heard of them. But then there he was, and he was seeking votes in the name of his father. And wherever he went, he repeated the same lines. मेरे पिताजी ने बोला था ठाकुरमुंडा बहुत अच्छा जगह है, बेटा ठाकुरमुंडा जरूर जाना. And people were ecstatic. So
my father told me that Thakurmunda is a great place and you must go there.
And you must visit. So he goes to another place, say Baripada. He says, मेरे पिताजी ने बोला था बाड़ीपदा बहुत अच्छा है. मेरे पिताजी ने बोला था बेटा बाड़ीपदा जरूर जाना. So now the point is, people loved it. Okay, so and he created history.
That's a great thing. He has definitely come a long way from that. But I have some questions about this. But let's first deal with what our viewers have to ask.
Yeah, so Karthik Parashar is one of our viewers. He wants to know what will be the future of BJD after Navin Patna.
Well, I don't think we need to wait for Navin Patnaik to exit. If this coalition, if this alliance, if India, BJP and BJD gets into this deal, I can jolly well predict today, now, that the Biju Janata Dal of Navin Patnaik is on its last leg. The party is over. Okay. And it is definitely a case that the Bharatiya Janata Party had always been wanting to swallow Biju Janata Dal. They have been waiting very patiently all this while. And I think they now realize, the central leadership of Bharatiya Janata Party feels that this is the most opportune time, the right time to make their move. And they have set their plan in action. Now, if you permit me, give me 1 minute, I'll give you an anecdotal story that how patient Bharatiya Janata Party has been in swallowing Biju Janata Dal. And not too many people know about this. It has never been reported. But I'm telling you, because I think it's an example which illustrates the best how patiently and how well planned the BJP has always planned it way in advance, much in advance. In 2019, post-2019 elections, the Odisha government of Navin Patnaik decided to give the three parties, BJP, BJD itself, and the Congress, the three major parties, permanent land for their office buildings. Congress already had a prime building, but it was a lease holding. The party was given permanent ownership of that building. Okay. Biju Janata Dal of Navin Patnaik got three government quarters for itself. Okay. And it was the permanent ownership was given vested with Biju Janata Dal. And on that land, they built a swanky office, Biju Janata Dal office. That is where their office is now. It's called Shankho Bhavan. Similarly, the Bharatiya Janata Party was also given a parcel of land, 2 quarters, government quarters stood on it, and said, okay, the ownership was given to Bharatiya Janata Party. It was a part of a cabinet decision. And the Bharatiya Janata Party was told, okay, feel free to build an office for yourself. Now, Bharatiya Janata Party has built swanky offices everywhere, from Delhi to Chhattisgarh to wherever you go, Jharkhand. They did not, despite having got this land, they have not built an office till date. They still operate out of a makeshift structure that is there. Now, if this question was asked to the central leadership, just 1 second, DK. So, what is the reason? So, the central leadership was asked, that, should we build our office? They said, no, BJD has already built such a lovely office. We will take it over. So, why take the trouble? All that we need to do is just take down their conch symbol, the party symbol, and we'll put up a lotus symbol, and that's it. So BJD actually had set its sight on taking over BJD at some point or the other. And this is an example.
If I may add here, it was the BJP which was instrumental in the formation of the BJD in the first place in 97. I think it was Vajpayee, Pramod Mahajan, they were all involved in actually persuading Navin Patna and other Janata Dal leaders to form a regional outfit.
Yeah, you are right, DK, but you must also keep in mind at that point of time, the BJP was was on an upswing at a national level under the leadership of Atal Bihari Vajpayee and L.K. Advani. But they were kind of non-existent in Odisha. BJP did not have much presence in Odisha. So what BJP did was they encouraged Navin Patnaik and his people to float a regional party. They financed the regional party. They helped Navin Patnaik to, and then piggybacked on Navin Patnaik to build their own kind of base. So the BJP was piggy riding on Navin Patnaik. So they encouraged and they financed Biju Janata Dal because they felt that through Biju Janata Dal, riding on the shoulder of Navin Patnaik, they can enter Odisha. And to a large extent, that has happened.
Our viewers, two of our viewers have asked the same question, so I'll combine it. Saksham Rai as well as Kartik Parashar. They want to know that will this alliance boost the Congress? And because a lot of minority, ST voters, others, they vote for BJD because the alternative is BJP. Also, are Kharge's recent visits and focus on Odisha of any value? And Kartik wants to know if there is any remote possibility of a revival of the Congress in Odisha.
Well, obviously, now that there is the BJP and BJD are getting together, so BJP is kind of giving up on the opposition space that it was occupying, right, officially, formally. Though I know that there was a kind of a informal understanding happening between Navin Patnaik and the BJP central leadership. So BJD was always seen as a B team of BJP, but ordinary people did not know about it, or they refused to believe this. So now that the opposition space is being vacated by BJP, obviously Congress stands to gain. But then we must also not lose in mind, we shouldn't be talking about the revival of Congress in a significant manner, because Congress, we tend to be carried away by whatever that happened in Telangana. But in Telangana, we must remember that Congress, though they were out of power, but it was never kind of wiped out. Even in the worst of times, possibly Congress was getting 35% of the votes in Telangana. Such a scenario doesn't exist for Congress in Odisha. Congress kind of organizationally has been weakened, kind of decimated in Odisha. The last time they vote, I think the vote share is 15%. So now that people who you don't like the government of BJP, BJD in Odisha, now who do you vote for? So people will by default now kind of vote for Congress. But so yes, the percentage of vote share of Congress will kind of go up. These 15%, 16% can go up to 20%, 25%. I won't be surprised even if it goes up to 30%. But it will not translate into seats per se, because organizationally, Congress is not there in the state to kind of tap this kind of, they cannot really, I don't expect, like say in Lok Sabha out of 21 seats, I don't expect Congress to win any. Last time, 2019, they had won one. I think all 21 will go to BJP, BJD this time. Assembly, Congress might pick up 15, 20, 25, and that's it, because their vote share will go up, but their increase in vote share may not necessarily translate into number of seats, more number of seats. Very unlikely.
Formidable alliance. I mean, look at the vote shares of the BJP and the BJD in the last Lok Sabha Assembly election. You put them together, it comes to around 70-75%.
Exactly, 70-75%. It's formidable, and they realize, and another thing, enabling factor for them is they realize that Congress does not have the organizational capacity or the capability right now to harness the disenchantment or whatever, or the opposition space that it suddenly gets. So the BJP, BJD are fully aware of it, and that is why taking this risk, they are willingly giving up the opposition space. Like so long as BJP and BJD had an informal understanding, all this while, BJD was in power. The BJP was occupying the opposition space despite their informal backroom understanding that they had. But now they are willingly giving it up because they think that they can afford to take this risk because Congress is not in a position to exploit that. So Congress from 15%, 16% can go up to 25% or 30%. But then that doesn't really change the numbers. Assembly seats will not translate into numbers. What can all happen possibly is there are a lot of that because as I know, people because this decision has this remarriage between BJD and BJD has essentially been driven down from Delhi, the central party leadership of Bharatiya Janata Party, to which Navin Patnaik and Mr. Pandian have both agreed to, as I said, more out of compulsion rather than choice. The party rank and file, both BJT and BJP, if you go to Odisha today, you will find many long faces. People both in BJD and both in BJP are quite unhappy about this understanding. BJP unhappy because all this while they have been critical, they have been abusing Navin Patnaik. Suddenly they have been told that no, he is good, so we'll have to praise him because we are part of the same parivar. Now, so BJP workers are very unhappy because some of them were driven by genuine opposition to Navin Patnaik. Okay. Now, BJD leaders are also kind of unhappy, apart from Navin Patnaik and Mr. Pandian. They are unhappy because they are no more sure about their place and they realize that sooner or later BJP is going to gobble them up. And in any case, even to an extent, like let me say that I am given to understand that even Mr. Pandian is very unhappy about it because so long as Navin Patnaik was the chief minister, Mr. Pandian was the king of all that he surveyed. He was the unquestioned number two. Now, there is another equation another player in the equation, that is the BJP central leadership. So Navin Patnaik might continue as long as he is around, physically around, he will be the chief minister. But even to an extent, Pandian's influence or authority kind of diminishes because of this. Because it's very unlikely that beyond the point, BJP will put up with Mr. Pandian throwing his weight around. Why should they? BJP is a national organization. They don't go by regional, regional phenomena. They will not put up with Mr. Pandian in the long run. And say, suppose post Navin Patnaik scenario, post-Navin Patnaik. Like, okay, so let's discuss this hypothetically, that Navin Patnaik exits the political stage. Do you think that BJP will pop up Mr. Pandian as the face, CM face? It's very unlikely, right? So post-Navin Patnaik, I think the party is over for Biju Janata Dal. Okay, it's on its last leg. It will be around, kicking and alive, as long as Mr. Navin Patnaik is around. After Navin Patnaik, the BJP is going to take over Biju Janata Dal and they will take over their party headquarters also, as they anticipated that take down the corn symbol and we'll put up our lotus symbol. That's it. The takeover is complete.
Mr. Pradhan has a question which you have partially answered, but he's saying that he's asking, is it expected that after Navin Patnaik, there will be split in the BJD? If yes, then he's saying, why is BJD is hampering its interest by making alliance with BJP? And don't they see the fate of regional parties who tied with BJP previously? What exactly has happened with them? Will other regional parties also follow this trend of entering into an alliance with BJP?
So that's precisely why I said that Navin Patnaik and Mr. Pandian agreed to this remarriage more out of compulsion than out of choice. They know what has happened with other regional parties elsewhere. Like BJP has swallowed them up. And that is what is going to happen in Odisha as well. BJP will swallow up because also you must agree, take note of the fact that BJD does not have a second rung of leadership. Like you take out Navin Patnaik, there is no second rung of leadership. Like the people who are the second rung of leadership in Biju Janata Dal, I'm certain, like sitting in Delhi, you guys were heard of them. Have you heard of the name of Shotanu Shoboshachi or Pranab Prakash Das or Devi Mishra? Now, you guys, though you are political commentators, you watch politics clearly, it's very unlikely that any of you would have heard their names. Okay, but that is the level or the degree or the quality of second rung of leadership. So Navin Patnaik exits the political stage. I think the writing on the wall is very, very clear. BJP-BJD is on its final leg. Navin Patnaik has also come to terms with it now that he wants to be the chief minister, and that's it. And to a certain extent, these deal with Bharatiya Janata Party also ensures that Mr. Pandian gets a certain degree of central protection. Beyond that, nothing. It will the BJP which will take over the system, the establishment in Odisha. The party, the Biju Janata Dal, simply does not have the resilience or the kind of leadership that a regional party needs to have to stand up to Bharatiya Janata Party.
One last question from one of the viewers, AP Tech, he goes by this name. He's saying, I think this is a bad decision for the BJP in long term. After current CM, Navin Patnaik, there is no second line leadership, which you also mentioned in BJD. BJP should not give opposition space to Congress, as BJP is already quite strong there, at least when it comes to Lok Sabha elections.
So BJP's calculation is very simple, and they, as we have discussed, they think that they can take the risk with Congress because Congress, though they are vacating, the BJP is vacating the opposition space, the Congress will not be able to exploit it to its advantage because it's how it doesn't organizationally exist. Neither does it have a leader, nor does it have in the state, nor does it have a narrative. Okay, so it's hugely compromised. And yeah, incrementally Congress definitely will gain, but it will possibly take 2 years, 3 years, or whatever. So BJP-BJD thinks that they can take this risk. And so far as post Navin Patnaik, who takes over? Well, the entire BJD will come and join BJP. There need not be even. I hear people saying that, well, the party will split and a faction of it will join Bharatiya Janata Party. No, why should it split? The entire party will come and merge with maybe in that eventuality, Pandian himself will lead the whole party into BJP. Because in any case, after Navin Patnaik, yeah.
No, please carry on.
Yeah, DK. No, sir. The point is.
Sorry, Ruben, please complete.
No, you go ahead, DK.
No, I just wanted to ask one last question before we let you go. You have seen Navin Patnaik since his debut in politics. You have covered his first election, and you have been watching him very closely for the last 25 years, 26 years, or more. What is the secret of his success? One election after another, from 2000 he has remained undefeated. What's about Odisha politics? What's about him that he has remained undefeated for so long?
No, there is no one single magic bullet. This was a combination of factors that allowed Navin Patnaik to rule uninterruptedly, win election after election. And there were several factors, and he has successfully connected all the dots. Very intelligently he's done it. One is his clean image, that he is Biju Patnaik's son, that he has total control over the bureaucracy, that he is ruthlessly cut down every other political rival within his party, that he is also kind of managing the opposition parties. Like he has now, it's the present, whatever that is happening now, it proves that he was in touch and he was managing Bharatiya Janata Party, which is his principal opposition party. Like they were hand in glove, informally. Okay, so that also, in fact, I know for sure in 2014 or 2014, even who the leader of opposition will be in the state assembly was decided by the chief minister's secretariat. It was their choice. So that was the degree of understanding that they had. So this is a combination of factors, and also the fact that he's a bachelor, he doesn't have a family, he doesn't have children for whom he has to make money. Even that helped. So everything put together kind of helped. So there was no single, as I keep saying, there was no one particular reason, but a combination of reasons which allowed Navin Patnaik to be such a the most successful contemporary politician in this country. He has been in power even than Narendra Modi, uninterruptedly. So he has been very, very successful. And the first time ever, see, when we say that there is a kind of a compulsion, and not choice, that they are agreeing. Biju Patnaik, Navin Patnaik, the Bharatiya Biju Janata Dal is agreeing to this remarriage, not out of choice, but out of compulsion. We must also take into account the fact that for the first time ever, like, see, Navin Patnaik never carried any baggage because he did not have a family, he did not have any children, so he never had to face any questions. Nobody doubted his integrity. For the first time ever, after 24 years, he's kind of chosen Mr. VK Pandian, a Tamil IAS officer, as his successor. So that was his weakness. For the first time ever, he's displayed a certain degree of weakness, that he has to carry this baggage of Mr. Pandian along with him. And I think, given his age and given his physical state, I think he doesn't, the fight has deserted him. He has very limited ambition now. Like, he just wants to continue as the chief minister. This arrangement guarantees him that. In any case, even without BJP support, he would have been elected. But then what would have happened is the BJD, the central government, could have turned the heat on him and his people. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want to go through those, whatever, say, Mamata Banerjee is enduring or what is happening elsewhere. He doesn't want to, or Kejriwal. He doesn't want to go down that road. He wants to have a kind of a very peaceful, so he's guaranteed that. And after that, once he ceases, exists, whether the party remains, whether BJP takes over, it doesn't matter to him, right? Why should he bother? And I think this arrangement also kind of, they must have been discussed and settled that Pandian gets a certain degree of protection. Yes, he will continue to be, he may not become the successor because he may not become the chief minister, but he will, possibly the deal is that he will continue to be a politician. He might get elected to Rajya Sabha, he can go to parliament, he can become a central minister. It depends on what the arrangement is. But the party, Biju Janata Dal, is, as a party, is over.
Well, thank you so much for this great insight as well as your anecdotes. It was quite interesting to have you on this conversation. Thank you, DK sir, for joining in.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you. My
Ruben.
pleasure. Thank you.